We'll see if the composition changes around for leftovers, or if they stick to their guns and just try to protect their Zeus a little bit more. Picks and bans for game 2.
Jungler whipping the ult, but the snipe is even better. Cherryo. Really pumping up the damage barrier, taking too much damage.
Nice,
Nika's
Nika.
in, however, be able to confirm that kill. The root is out. Nika gets that double kill. Great rotation.
Hey fam, don't forget, if you go into the store, you put hashtag Allied Strong, you get yourself your own Allied icon for in-game. So
rock it.
You can rock that and bring it to the bank. Paradigm trying to bring this series to the bank, 1-0 at the moment. They've got first pick and they've got first ban. Anything you want to see Paradigm ban away from leftovers?
You know what? I just want Odin picked up again by Paradigm, so I could call it the Paradigm Petting Zoo in the middle of a cast. Because I didn't think about it until later. I was like, yo, this is great.
I would like to see Paradigm ban Zeus,
I wouldn't.
just to help out the team.
Just to help out leftovers. Hey,
Yeah.
man, we know you guys.
Yeah.
Here you go, leftovers. We'll do you a favor and ban Zeus.
Paradigm now with their first pick. It won't be Khepri. Leftovers.
I like that.
I love the Khepri ban. I think that's a very big tool.
There was a couple of fights early on where leftovers had some potential to kill and honestly snowball the fight. Unfortunately, though, Trixtank on point there with the Khepri ults outside of the tower shot. I'm just gonna dig at that one. That was hilarious. And it's gonna be Nemesis' first pick. So Paradigm pull in a Hunger for More. Captain Twig has reinvented this goddess so far.
How far we've come. The Thor will be the first pick for leftovers. We'll see Cherryo on the Thor. Honestly, not my favorite god that Cherryo can pilot, but we'll see how it works out alongside another global with
Okay.
Janus.
I like this. The double globals coming out of leftovers. Also, Nemesis, similar to Zhong Kui, struggles against gods with high mobility or interesting moves that can get away from her, right? So we have Thor, Anvil of Dawn,
Sure.
also has the hammer, can stun her and wall her out. And then Janus could just like, okay, you ult the Janus and he just portals on a wall and now you're away from him.
More about the characters that can get over the wall. Nemesis has a lot of mobilities, but she doesn't have any way to jump over the wall. So Janus and Thor both going to provide that escape mechanism. Guan Yu on the side of Paradigm this time, and we'll see the Neith one more time.
Guan Yu's still a flex pick though. We've seen Xaliea run it. We haven't seen QvoFred run it just yet, but I mean this has been a Trixtank special for years. Although we have seen Paradigm lean more towards giving it to Xaliea as of recent sets.
If you look at VODs from the launch tournament, Trixtank
He
is playing
stole
Guan Yu
FG
support.
from Cognitive Gaming.
Yep.
Old school Cog.
Old school Hunter. Apollo will be selected for Arkkyl on the side of leftovers.
Wow. Globals. Globals.
Oh, yeah.
Globals. Ban Athena if I'm Paradigm.
Global.
Honestly,
Chronos.
ban Athena. There we go.
Yeah.
You can't give a team like I don't know if leftovers would be the best squad at abusing globals, but
Sure.
we've seen Panthera last year during their fall split. They always ran like triple globals plus, right? And they would just they were the best rotating team in the game. They always took these number advantage fights, and just having those gods that can get in and out everywhere, it's just way too dangerous if the team can use them appropriately.
I love the last ban from leftovers. They banned the Bacchus. This is leftovers hedging their bets. Guan Yu has been played by both Trixtank and Xaliea, but Bacchus has also been played by both Trixtank and Xaliea.
Wait, did he play it in solo?
Yes.
Once.
Re-
Oh, Super Regionals.
Yep.
He played it in a legit game, too.
In a game that really mattered. He did pretty well. Realistically, leftovers are expecting Guan Yu to wind up in the solo lane, hence the Bacchus ban. But, as I said, this is Paradigm. They have their own identity.
Kumbha here, a very good pick, and I really like Kumbhakarna against Nemesis, right? Not only can you just mez her and stop her from chasing down your carries, but additionally, gods like Zhong Kui and Nemesis are really bad matchup against Kumbha. Xaliea as well, where it's like they have these 5-second windows where they do a ton, right? Whether it's chase someone down and kill them with auto attacks, like with Xaliea Nemesis, or Zhong Kui, who, has all his ghost comes out, and just being taken out of the playing field by Epic Uppercut neutralizes most of that.
I love the switch around coming from Paradigm here. Last game. All right, Lawbster, you're the setup man. I'm going to Funball. We'll let him take the spotlight. He's going to play the Freya after you set up. Now, Funball, you're the setup man. I'm going to play some Zeus, protect my booty so I can deal the damage. Paradigm they have a much better composition to protect the Zeus than leftovers did last time. Leftovers, though, they've got a whole bunch of globals and some tanky frontliners in Kumbha and Ravana. Will it be enough? Paradigm looking for their second win, trying to get to DreamHack.
Position. Swammers are making it come up big. One more hit. He will die as well to Xaliea, who gets a double.
Run away, Xalia's coming. He got him again! Blind shot in the dark finds the kill.
Trixtank is there, still stunned, but it doesn't matter. Funballer finds the last hit, and then he finds a beautiful stun on Variety as well. He can't even get Lawbringer off.
Paradigm always turning up at land, looking to turn up one more time. They're on the favorable side of things, but as we said a number of times, Leftovers certainly still talented enough to play spoiler here. Paradigm realistically need to win both of these games.
Yeah,
a lot of the teams in contention have an interesting schedule.
The thing with Paradigm is that they actually have the easiest clothing schedule of any of the teams in contention right now. They have obviously Leftovers who are bottom. They have Fnatic and Torpedo all to face. I don't think they're facing. I don't think they're facing any of the teams right now that they're competing against. So they've got a pretty safe run, I would imagine. Still very important, though. You can't get lazy.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing when it comes to Paradigm.
Yeah, especially Paradigm, who are known to just get lazy.
Exactly. We see them play up and play down a number of times, and I think the last loss that they suffered the week before last was really a wake-up call.
Week 6.
Yeah.
That was their lose 2 games to Hunger for More and then drop 1 against Torpedo.
Yeah, we saw a real bounce back. We saw how hard Paradigm played last week or earlier in this week, and you know, that's really the Paradigm. If you're rooting at home for the crown, that's really what you want to see. You want to see Paradigm keep their foot on the gas. These guys are not always hungry, but right now, towards the end of the season, they're certainly looking for land.
No crazy starts coming out just yet. Standard play here, and Jungler going to take a first death. Oh, no, he got lightning. So for some reason, I thought like he leveled up. Oh, Trix might die first, actually.
Yeah, first blood, very close. Either way, backflip not going to find it, but the basic will. Arkkyl on top of Trixtank. The aggressive nature of Paradigm's dual lane comes to bite them in the butt.
And Lawbster not going to give this up for free. This could... Oh, that was close. If that lightning storm connected, I mean, it wouldn't have killed anyone, but I mean, it would have done so much damage to Nika and Cherryo if they got 3 stacked.
Cherryo takes an aggressive path into the mid. Dashes right in front of Lawbster, but no punishment. Lawbster stuck here dealing with the wave. He'll tank it all the way down to about half HP while he watches Leftovers get the left harpies.
And that's going to go for free. Lawbster actually taking a good amount of poke here from these minions as well, having to tank up an entire wave. But QvoFred will get these right side back harpies for free because of it here.
Good clear coming out from the Nemesis.
Is he going to invade the left side ones too? Looks
Certainly
like he is.
like he wants
and
to.
that's just a call from Lawbster. He's got him locked down in the mid lane. And I mean, if I'm Leftovers, I'm like, hey, where's Nemesis?
Yeah, very good communication coming out from Paradigm. I think yes, exactly. Nemesis will be aggressed on. You can see the pings coming
dash
out
is
now.
down. This should be a kill. This 100% should be a kill. That's so much tower damage here. Jungler trying to chase down. Where's the portal coming out from him?
Not going to be there. QvoFred finds a slow, and here comes Lawbster, and that's enough. The portal around the corner. QvoFred taking a little bit of poke, but dashes away from the unstable vortex. And Paradigm, very aggressive, but they don't have to pay for
Lawbster should die here. One more hit. The slow's not in time. And actually, QvoFred might be in trouble too. Swing away, Cherryo. There it is. One more.
Ooh.
Hammer going to be up in 5 seconds. Has his ult, and he doesn't even need it. You can see Trixtank through the wall, but it doesn't matter. He's not level 5. Not going to be able to pull Cherryo back in, and Leftovers getting started really well.
Really well. That's putting it lightly. I mean, these guys are 3 kills already. First of all, this is more kills than we saw from both teams at this point in the game last time around. But second of all, Leftovers off to a strong start. They're punishing the Zeus, which is definitely a look that they want to be looking at. And then a separate lane as well, the dual lane also getting punished. Very smart play coming out from Leftovers.
Yeah, that was really surprising. Like, I was surprised like they double invaded the back harpies. The one was fine, but it was a little bit risky to go for the second one. And whether that was Lawbster calling them going back to those late, or that was QvoFred getting very greedy, not wanting or willing, to give it up. Either way, it was a misplay from Paradigm, and a good job by Leftovers to combine for the kill.
So that's Paradigm testing the waters, and I actually don't have a problem with the 3 early deaths because as long as it stops here. Paradigm testing the water, seeing just how aggressive, just how greedy they can be. They win the last game off of a lot of mistakes. And so they want to see just how harshly they can push them.
I love what Leftovers are doing here, and they're actually going to pick off Trixtank as he rotates in. He does have ult, and they need to burst him as fast as they can, but they're both going to get
stunned.
pulled.
And that's going to be a death for Badgah as well. The basics being found by the jungler and the mid lane. QvoFred gets credit for that. So Leftovers take their lead, and they get played by it a little bit.
And Cherryo also defensive ult goes to his own speed buff. Even though he had Arkkyl coming, rotating in, Arkkyl will be slowed. QvoFred trying to close the gap, but doesn't have any more abilities, and it's going to be a 2-for-1, but, I mean, that's a win for Paradigm.
For sure.
That was really surprising. The team kind of just didn't immediately try and burst Ares. Like, Ares only has Boots 2 in this situation. That was a free kill, but instead a couple members were, like, scared, and they actually backed off. The ones that had Purification up actually backed off and created space because they didn't want to get hit by the follow-up damage, but they could have finished Ares off before he got that ult.
Just chose not to. So Leftovers find a couple more kills for themselves. Still maintaining a lead. First blood plus a little bit extra. Paradigm able to answer a little bit back, but so Leftovers tried to take their lead and do something aggressive with it. I like that play. I hope they stick to their guns. I really hope they realize that that was not the worst decision despite winding up on the bottom side of that fight.
And now you could see aggression on the right-hand side. It's going to be Cherryo looking to do something to Xaliea, but Cherryo has not backed yet after that last engagement. He's still poked out, low mana as well. Was just trying to get as much farming in as he could.
And Cherryo off to a lead. This is what Leftovers absolutely need. Thor can play a number of roles. Rarely do we see the offensive pace-setting Thor that just ganks. When you have the 2 early kills before the 5-minute mark, that's where you need to bring this out. Expect to see Cherryo go right into some offensive items. None of this Void Shield nonsense. Right into a Jotuns.
Yeah, Void Shield is a lot of damage. I think you're completely underestimating how powerful that is. Obviously, you don't get the CDR, but pure damage output, I mean, Void Shield's just a better option.
Sure. Totally depends. What I'm looking for, the reason I bring up the Jotuns is I want to see Cherryo just rotating and setting the pace of this game, making sure that Paradigm never feel comfortable because there's always a Thor ult coming out of the jungle. And that can change the way the opponent plays.
And Jungler forced to Purify there. A little bit surprising, had his ultimate, but instead wants to waste the 160-second cooldown instead of the lower one here. And Jungler still struggling in this role in the middle lane, because it's not the jungle, which is his namesake.
QvoFred clearing out some of the vision.
Triggered.
Over there on the left side of the map. Golden Bow finished for the Neith. A little bit more ahead is the Apollo.
And just going back to farming here, Leftovers have kind of taken their foot off the gas. Right-hand side, though, Cherryo, I'm pretty sure he's in the sky, or at least getting ready to go up in the air. The team's looking for Xaliea, but a really well-timed ultimate from him. And Guan Yu's going to get away.
Guan knew that the Thor was in the air the whole time. That ultimate was too perfect. There's a sound cue, but that ultimate was absolutely on point. Good communication.
No words. He just knew it was coming.
Yeah, good communication. Paradigm just say, hey, we don't know where Thor is. Last seen this spot.
Trixtank a little bit behind, though. He's level 6 right now. Just hit 7, so he's on par with Badgah. About 300 gold behind. He did get first blooded and take a second death as well. So a little bit worrying when your Ares gets behind.
Yeah, Ares doesn't have any traditional peel. He peels by way of damage. If you don't have the numbers, there's just not any peel.
Tricks. No blink online. I think if his blink was online, he would have looked for a kill there. No one else was in position, I guess. So 7 minutes in, though. Leftovers found the first 3 kills of the match. Paradigm answered back with a 2-for-1 and kind of slowed down Leftovers' pace. They were setting up to, invade that speed buff we saw on the second spawn and start to get very aggressive, but it kind of all got stopped.
Rotation over to the mid lane. Trixtank, he sees that Cherryo's pushed up a little bit. Paradigm don't really want it. The call has been made by Leftovers to head over to the Gold Fury, and Trixtank knows all about it. Throws out a chain, doesn't find a connection, but will chase the enemy off. Now everybody on Paradigm surrounded by Leftovers. Trixtank gets 1 with the damage from the ultimate. There's Nemesis, and she combines with Funball to take out Badgah right quick, and that's 5 above 3. Well played for Paradigm.
That was just really well played by Lawbster and Trix. Trix goes aggressive, finds the multi-man ult, and what happens is Leftovers that time are trying to burst him, but Lawbster just drops the Lightning Storm right on top, and you saw Cherryo just get so low. He tried to bail out, he popped his Purification, but he ran right into Zeus.
What was so beautiful there for me, Kevin, was just how quick everything happened.
Yes, very fast.
Apollo. Just how quick everything happened. Just immediately, hey, I think we have a pick. Bang! Everything that Paradigm had available was just bang.
That's like... That's what a high-level team does.
Exactly.
The call is made. Everyone knows what they're looking to do. They execute it flawlessly, and it leaves less windows for the other team to be able to react and respond. That when you watch high-level teams play, fights happen, and they're over in an instant. Lower teams, you'll see these fights drag on a little bit because teams or players either don't follow a single call or are looking for different things.
One of my dream stats to have would be the amount of time where the amount of time separated between abilities, right? Where Paradigm get that guy out and they drop Zeus ult, Ares ult, Funball hits an ult, right? Everybody just deals their damage right there, and you're looking at milliseconds. Some of the lower end teams, like you're looking at actual seconds, and that can sway a team fight.
No Gold Fury just yet, though. Paradigm have neutralized Leftovers' lead completely. It's only a 200 gold difference. And Cherryo takes to the sky there, trying to zone out Trix as the rest of his team continues on the Gold Fury. He's going to land down. We need to see a stun, though.
There's the blink in, and Leftovers already get the Gold Fury, but Trixtank gets everybody with the ultimate, unable to find a kill as Trixtank is there all by his lonesome. And Paradigm pay for it, losing the support and gaining absolutely nothing, trying to make it happen. QvoFred diving the tower, but Jungler is able to get out with a good portal. And so Leftovers wind up with 1 kill to none, and the Gold Fury will actually push them over 1,000 gold in the lead.
Lawbster trying to zone out Badgah, but it's Arkkyl who lands down. And Cherryo, they are just like very scared of this Zeus. He has no lightning storm. His detonate was used, but they don't want to risk it seems. And Lawbster is just pushing them 3v1. This is the power of your name, right? This is that Zeus should have been dead.
Sure.
That Zeus should have died right there. He has no sanctuary.
A good chain lightning gets him a double kill before they're able to smoke him out, though.
They played that super scared. Like, obviously, Jungler couldn't have helped at all, but I mean...
It would have been tough. It would have been tough.
Leftovers still get the Gold Fury, though. Also escape any deaths, pick up Trixtank, and now have regained their lead. About 800 there, 900. Small experience lead as well, about the same.
A little bit to work with as Leftovers now trying to position themselves towards the mid game. They've got a decent mid-game composition with the Thor and the Janus combining for just a lot of control as far as whether they're trying to be safe on their own team or trying to exert that control outwards. QvoFred gets stunned out, dashes away from the poke. So no double hammer.
And back to farming we go. Mid-Harpy starting to spawn. Paradigm setting up for the right-hand ones as Leftovers head to the left side. And it doesn't look like any team is going to contest here. You can see Trixtank just hugging the wall. He's going to make sure to soak up the experience and be able to also visually call if Leftover are coming to fight. That's the whole idea of what he's doing. Also has his blink up in 10 seconds if he wants to get aggressive.
Cherryo hanging out on the left side of the map can ult, choosing if he wants to go into the dual lane by himself. And that's exactly what he does. Lands on top of Funball. Neith is in some trouble. Doesn't find the Spirit Arrow, so there's no route. Sprint is popped, and the Hunter finds his way to safety. Cherryo does not follow up.
In the mid lane, actually, Paradigm taking this time to go aggressive in the jungle, looking to find a pick on a jungler once again, but it's not going to happen. Cherryo still hanging on that left-hand side. He's going to invade the boars. And I like what he did there, right? Cherryo doesn't immediately hammer because he knows Neith is just going to backflip, and he just burns the purification for his ult, which is, I'm assuming, what he was willing to trade there.
And that's what I was talking about. We do see the Void Shield, by the way, looking for the damage. That's what I was talking about Thor looking to dictate the pace of the game. Just show up. Get rid of some beads, and just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Show up in a lane, toss out a wall, throw a hammer, see if QvoFred blows something. That's what this Thor is looking to do for Leftovers. Just create these windows of opportunity without really hard committing.
This should be a
dead Paradigm
Zeus.
are never safe.
This should be a dead Zeus. Cherryo, though, missing the double tap, and he's forced back. Jungler wasn't in position either.
Purification and Zeus ult burned. Again, Cherryo keep on keeping on.
That's
the Thor's job here. Yeah, that should have been a dead Zeus. I'm with you.
That's fine.
I'm with you. But that's the Thor's job here, is to just keep doing this. Just keep the foot on the throat of Paradigm and say, hey, look, you're never too safe.
And speed buff, blue buff still going the way of Paradigm, though. Not getting invaded. Leftovers tried that once. They have since said they've since apologized, right? They're like, okay, we're not going to do that again. And Leftovers still with a very ever so slight lead. But the later this game goes, the Zeus damage is going to start to come online.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Danger.
That's really what they're looking for, and that's why the Neith is selected in tandem, just to protect that Zeus, to ensure that the team gets to the late game. Paradigm aren't expecting to be 5k gold in the lead right now. They don't have that Isis-Thor combination. They have a QvoFred Lawbster on Nemesis and Zeus, two late-game, item-oriented characters. They're not looking for a lead right now.
Surprise, Funballer. No purification available. That's going to be a pick. But on the right-hand side, Paradigm are actually invading onto this blue buff. QvoFred reset it at first because he saw people rotating in. But now that he knows Cherryo is on the left side of the map, this is going to be free for him. And I think he was able to pick it up. Yes.
Yep. Order side, buff goes to. So the pickup will be to Guan Yu. Selects it. 14 on the Guan, 14 on the Robin. Solo lane, relatively boring. We'll see that a little bit later as they make their impact into the team fights. Different story in the dual lane, though. Tower goes down at 13.5.
And no response from Paradigm. They knew they couldn't get over there in time. Xaliea will QvoFred will finally rotate over and secure the farm here. Xaliea is left to farm on the right-hand side in his slapfest against Nika. And here comes Trixtank looking for Badgah.
And the ultimate not going to pay off. Ultimate for ultimate. Badgah forced into the CC immunity.
Not the easiest ability to time.
Yeah.
The Kumbhakarna ult is very fast. It doesn't have a lot of CC immunity, but just recognizing... I mean, Badgah's played a lot of areas. He knows the timing on that no escape.
Exactly. Xaliea, on the other hand, stuck out literally against the wall. He'll find an escape finally, but he's only got about 10% HP, and Jungler makes sure it's 0. Good shot coming out from the Janus. Shuts down the Guan Yu. That's going to be the first death of the game for Xaliea, and Jungler's first kill.
Xaliea getting a little bit too aggressive by himself there, trying to make a play happen, and Leftovers completely abused that. And now with the man advantage, they're looking at the Gold Fury. Xaliea, he's going to be spawning here in 22, and he does have teleport, so this is not the easiest thing for Leftovers to force, but they're going to try either way against a Zeus with Lightning Storm.
Yeah, the ultimate from Zeus definitely a little bit scary.
Oh,
Cherryo's going to go in the air to make
he's
sure
looking for
nobody's
Funballer.
too close. Is he looking for Funballer? Is he looking
was,
elsewhere? He's
but
looking elsewhere.
He had to switch targets, and there goes the Lightning Storm. Badgah caught by himself. You can see the sprint and pop Spirit Arrow just off the mark. Badgah able to juke that out, and Leftovers and Paradigm both reset the fight for now. Badgah heading back to base.
Lawbster doesn't have the ultimate any longer. Last time we saw a team go for Gold Fury without a Zeus ult, it was stolen by a Bird Bomb. Can Leftovers do the reverse and take it away from Paradigm? Already down to 50% is
They have the
the
Spirit Arrow.
Arkyl's in the air.
Combo, though.
Arkyl's in the air.
He's going to wait, and you can see Paradigm forced to reset this. They don't want to, but they have to.
Look at the big change on that Apollo ult, letting him just circle around. Still in the air as Arkkyl finally lands down, but it's way after the fact. Funball picks up the kill onto the Badgah. There's the ultimate out of the jungler.
Wait,
not going to find much of anything. And now Xaliea pushing the argument. Jungler safely on the tower.
Just barely, though. Xaliea getting forced back. The rest of Paradigm focusing on this Gold Fury, and it's going to go their way. Leftovers here. They have Cherryo split pushing the mid in the meantime, but I mean, that's definitely not a worthwhile trade for them. An unfortunate loss. They lose Badgah, they lose the Gold Fury, and they're not even going to be able to get this tier 1 in mid.
Leftovers just didn't pull the trigger there. There was just no trigger pull. To be fair, I don't really know where the opportunity would have been, but Arkkyl goes up. As soon as your Apollo goes up, there has to be a commitment.
And left-hand side, Paradigm are going to use this opportunity to secure the tower uncontested, and it's back to farming. But Paradigm now have regained control of the game, 800 in the lead. And a little bit of experience as well. Jotun's online for Cherryo, so he's gone into the CDR still. Jungler working on either a Book of Thoth, could be also a Soul Reaver, which we've seen picked up a little bit more predominantly. But it's going to be interesting. Leftovers just have not been able to get anything rolling.
Yeah, and with 16.5 on the clock, they certainly need to start doing so, because as it gets later and later, similar to Leftovers' composition last time around, Paradigm are just going to get stronger and stronger. This Nemesis Zeus combination
obviously, like,
devastating.
Now they're going to try and pick off this Zeus finally. Purification Force, there's the Neith just to slow down the advance, but Jungler secures lobby.
So much happier with Jungler on the Janus. And you know, it's twofold. Sure, Jungler's surviving a little bit more because of the survivability and the defensive nature of this character, but he also feels a little bit more confident. And we're seeing these offensive ultimates. We're seeing Jungler be able to be a little bit more offensive because he knows he's not just going to
QvoFred. He's actually on the wrong side of that wall, and it looks like he'll be able to get away, but now the aggression coming out, a double root coming out from Badgah as Leftovers look to disengage. Funballer finding the autos attacks onto Jungler, hitting 5 in a row, missing the 6th, securing the 7th, but at the very least forcing Leftovers off his tier 2.
There's the unstable vortex through the wall, just trying to find some poke. Funball goes ahead, and we'll head to the right side of the jungle with the Ares and the Guan Yu.
How long was last game?
Not that long, over a half hour.
30 minutes. We're 17 minutes in, and Jungler has almost matched his damage.
Yeah.
He's about 60% of the way there, and he's only got 2 items done.
And it's like I said, it's sure he has 0 deaths. That's a big difference from 0, 4, and 1. But it's also just the feeling he's not being dove. He does have the tools to escape, and because he feels a little bit more confident because he's not dying as much as he was in game number 1, he's able to turn around, use that confidence to amplify his offense.
Yeah.
It's a match made in heaven.
Right. And I mean, combined with Cherryo, I mean, now he's on this Thor, who's going to be much more impactful early, where before he's on the Ao Kuang, who it's a lot harder to execute. Ao Kuang can have more potent team fights, but it's, you need to make sure to position yourself properly, where Thor has a lot of options. Even when he gets behind, he can be useful.
Yeah, exactly. And, Thor, it's not as much hard carry potential as the Ao Kuang. And Leftovers now, they're playing a little bit more like a unit with Jungler involved in the conversation. And so they're able to just combine with the Thor.
Now pressure on the left-hand side coming out from the duo lane. You can see Trixtank is getting zoned by Leftovers, and Leftovers actually now backing off. Arkkyl is kind of isolated from the rest of his team as Trixtank gonna find the chains onto Nika here, and Arkkyl forced to ult away because he was by himself, and Cherryo's in the sky. They could be looking for tricks here. Yeah,
Cherryo's just looking to see anybody that decides to follow up on Arkkyl. Arkkyl gets offensive and gonna land. Trixtank grabs 2 with the chain, only pulls 1. Badgah's in some trouble, but Xaliea on the right side gonna find some trouble of his own, forced into the ultimate. Jungler ultimate to allow Cherryo to join, but won't be a fight. Leftovers a little bit less healthy than Paradigm are right now. We'll see the yellow and black head up the left lane.
Lightning Storm still available for Paradigm if they want to use it, but it looks like Leftovers, they've all backed. They've disengaged this fight so far. Paradigm still trying to find a pick. No jungle available to be stolen away. Gold Fury not going to be spawning for another minute, so looks like they'll just back up for now. Nothing gained, nothing lost.
I like that portal coming out of Jungler. Just really making sure that Paradigm walk in the direction that he wants. Throws out a big stun from Cherryo, gets 3. Just a small little, not even the poke, just the uncomfort that's being delivered to Paradigm. They're still on the offensive, and they're going to look for a tier 1 tower, but Leftovers are looking to defend.
That's really good poke. You could see Jungler now already at half, and Xaliea going to be able to keep everyone in Paradigm healthy. There goes the wall, isolating QvoFred, but he's going to be fine, and here comes Xaliea looking to engage.
He gets a stun onto 2 players. Arkkyl and Cherryo both going to be stunned out, but no follow-up from the guys from Paradigm. Instead, they look towards Badgah, taking down the Kumbhakarna. You can hear the Neith ultimate being channeled. Everybody looking towards Cherryo. Stun is strong, but he will not escape despite the hammer throw. Trixtank winds up with the kill, and so the defense onto the tier 1 was interesting because we rarely see it. That's why we rarely see a tier 1 defense, because if you fall on it, that's an easy tier 2.
I mean, that was highlighted by Lawbster there. He did so much poke damage in that fight, right? At the start, before a fight even broke out, he throws out the shield, he pops it with Chain Lightning, 3 stacks Jungler, and then Jungler was at 50%. And then once Paradigm pulled the trigger to dive, you saw Badgah go aggressive, but he got isolated because Jungler couldn't get in that fight. He was so low.
Yeah.
1 Spirit Arrow spelled death for him, so he's forced back, and then just they pick off Badgah. And that's what I've actually seen a lot from this series as a whole. There's always one player that's kind of a little bit off to the side, and both teams are really good at making sure to lock them down.
Gold Fury being started by Paradigm after a fantastic sequence in the mid lane. Jungler does what he can, and the rest of Leftovers will show up, and that'll force Paradigm off of the objective.
They got Janus ult. He does have Chronos Pendant, so it should be up relatively soon here, but still a small win. And Paradigm, after taking out a couple towers, they have about a 2K lead, which is not that massive. Pretty close.
Very small lead. Leftovers have been, honestly, running the majority of the early to early mid game as we transition towards the later end of the mid and, honestly, towards the late game. Paradigm looking a little bit stronger thanks to their composition. Badgah gets pulled, but Trixtank all alone here. Ultimate not going to really be able to be followed up on by Trix.
Oh, I thought Kuvo was going to go aggressive. I saw him in that middle lane. And in the meantime, it's just been Cherryo split pushing on the right-hand side. He does not have teleport. He's actually gone into the sprint, so this is going to be a man advantage for Paradigm as they force this Gold Fury.
And that's a free Gold Fury for Paradigm. Good zoning coming out from QvoFred to keep Leftovers at bay. Jungler makes his way from the mid lane, but a little bit too late. And Cherryo's split push is answered by a teleport out of Xaliea on the right side, so no tier 1 tower going the way of Leftovers either.
That was really well played by Paradigm. They saw Cherryo split pushing. They forced the Gold Fury with the man advantage. They know Cherryo is the one who can really engage and get the team into the fight outside of the Janus ultimate, which I'm not sure when it came up, but it might have still been down from the last time they baited the Gold Fury. And then as they complete it, Xaliea just TPs in, and Cherryo still doesn't get the tower.
22, almost 23 on the clock. And both these teams really very, very close. Let's take a look at the graphs and see the story of this game. You can see that Leftovers put up a really big fight early on. And honestly, prior to that Gold Fury, Kevin, Leftovers were looking a little bit stronger. What's the biggest difference, you think, from Game 1 to Game 2? For me, it's the Janus.
It's the lack of Zeus,
Yes.
right? It's like the Zeus just got bullied by the Odin, and jungler specifically didn't have any peel on his team. Like, I'm not saying, like, I don't think jungler has the best positioning on Zeus, but to his credit,
Exactly.
he had 0 appeal, and it made it even worse that he was against the Odin.
Once upon a time, Zeus was rarely picked and only picked in a composition with 4 other gods that could provide
Yes.
reliable crowd control.
Yes.
We've seen teams get, whether they're getting better or whatever, we've seen a little bit of turnaround from that, but still, a little bit of peel. Just by having that Neith ultimate, Lobster's a little bit more safe.
And we've seen that as well. I know specifically when Leftovers were able to catch out Lawbster as he rotated out from his red buff.
Yep.
We saw the Neith ult onto the Kumbhakarna. There was still too much damage from Leftovers to protect him, but on cooldown, Funballer is looking to make sure that if Lobster gets dove, he has that ultimate there to save him.
Exactly. Blink in from Trixtank, grabs 3 with the chains, only going to get 1 pull. It's Badgah. He takes a ton of damage. Tallow and a dash, and Lobster gets credit for the Cherryo on top. Down with Badgah. Tier 2 tower over in the right-hand lane will fall as well. 1,500 going the way of Paradigm. In addition to the kills, they take 4,500
split
gold,
pushing.
and they push it to 6K. But Arkkyl's going to do his job as well. Apollo gets a tier 2.
I'm pushing
and
a
looking
Phoenix.
for
I'm pushing a Phoenix on
Oh, hell
Arkkyl
yeah.
right now. Cherryo comes landing down here, but I mean, this is just Cherryo just trying to waste time for Leftovers to get that middle Phoenix.
Phoenix
And
for
one
Phoenix.
for one, that's a win. The problem here is this second Phoenix.
And now Arkkyl, after he gets this Phoenix, successfully does so, should back and join the team fight. We're not going to see that, though. Arkyl's still pushing up. Paradigm certainly doing the same. Ultimate out of the Zeus.
Oh, the
Wonderful
wall.
stun, and Cherryo takes out Trixtank.
Arkkyl, he's actually ulting from that Phoenix in the mid lane. I don't think Paradigm know about this. Cherryo getting isolated by Xaliea on the side, just trying to stay alive, and Xaliea will take him out. Here comes the blink for Badgah, and actually here comes Arkkyl, gonna isolate Lobster, forced to Sanctuary, worried about the damage from the Zeus, looking to get away. Paradigm hits a big root. Funballer on point.
Fun ball through the wall, finding the Spirit Arrow in traffic. Loved how Paradigm combined. As soon as Lobster saw that he was in trouble, called it, mentioned it, and everybody comes around the corner to save Big Daddy Amble. Paradigm saved their mid lane mage, and it's going to allow them to push forward. They don't get this tier 2, but Funball certainly looking to push it even more so. Here comes the jungler. Everybody's low, and Funball anything but looking to push the opposition.
Funball is not missing autos right now. Going to charge this ult. That might be enough damage to finish off Badgah. He barely survives. I don't think that was fully charged coming up from Funballer. And now he's starting to miss some things. He's going to back off as the... No, he's not. Is he going to push this tower? Okay, he's giving up finally. Playing it safe, Funball. But that's a Fatalis Neith, I noticed as well. Not something you typically see coming out of most hunters, and especially out of a Neith.
I mean, so right here, I mean, this is the Snoopy build.
It's a little bit different. He goes into crit and doesn't build the chins, I believe.
Sure. Generally, so Snoopy build, yeah, it's a full build. But generally speaking, well, it's always the front part for me. The lack of boots in exchange for the movement speed from Fatalis and the Golden Bow. Now, it's interesting, as you said, particularly interesting on the Neith, an ability-based hunter. Usually we see a little bit more power, but the Fatalis is definitely going to allow Funball to stay as aggressive as he's been able to do.
And Cherryo here getting caught in his own jungle. Mantle of Discord might have saved him, but the tick damage
Wow.
from chains, enough to go through. And Cherryo's going to fall for the 4th time this match. Him and Badgah combining for almost every single death on Leftover side.
Yeah, it's been really rough. Paradigm have specifically targeted out Badgah and the
Yes.
mid lane in game number 1, and in game number 2, they're specifically targeting out Badgah and the jungler in game number 2. Cherryo got off to a fantastic start and was able to help Leftovers sort of get a lead, but Paradigm have taken that away. They secure 6K in the lead along with the Fire Giant thanks to a fantastic set of team fights. But look at Arkkyl over here on the left side. Still split
Needs to be
pushing.
careful. I love what Leftovers have done here. They just gave up the Fire Giant. I mean, this late into the game, it's not as late into the game as you would like to see. When you give up Fire Giant, typically you want to be close to full build, and it's like, okay, even with their Fire Giant, that's
Right.
not that big of a power bonus to them. It's really the region that's coming through. And you could see they're just going to give it up, though. They're going to concede it. They're going to push out the lanes, which means it's going to delay Paradigm from being able to push in their towers and Phoenixes by a small margin.
I would have liked to see Leftovers go for the Gold Fury in that situation. I think that's what some of the other more tenured teams would do, maybe?
I'm not
quite.
sure.
You're not feeling that. Why not?
I just wasn't. I don't know their ward coverage,
Sure.
and it looks like it's 0. So
Yeah,
it's always risky because you go for the gold theory and you don't have vision. You could just throw. You
1
could just have
TP.
2 or 3 wiped. You're guaranteed to lose that middle Phoenix. You're probably losing the left one before they spawn as well.
risk versus reward. No risk for
At this
Paradigm.
point, when you're this behind, though, you can
Yeah.
make those risky plays. I wasn't exactly sure when the gold theory had spawned, though.
No risk for Paradigm taking out that tier 2 tower on the left side. In fact, they only put 2 players on it. Not a big commitment coming out from from Paradigm, and they're able to just clear out all towers on the map.
Now,
Mid lane Phoenix now being aggressed.
Trixtank in the front there with QvoFred, just trying to find the chains, not on the mark. The Phoenix on the right-hand side has respawned, no minion advantage, and it looks like Cuvo is actually just going to try and man up, but he's taking so much damage by himself right now.
We see this a lot out of Eager.
Curse?
I like to call it the Talon Claw. You see 3 in one lane and then 2 separated out.
This
You get
is
a
really
solo
good from
laner
Leftovers.
And a jungle. You push out all together and it puts a lot of pressure on the opposition, but Leftovers just defending against the mid lane tower, like you said. Good play by Leftovers not to take the bait.
They got the curse out of QvoFred as well. Funballer by himself, forced to purify. Badgah trying to juke, but actually knocks him out of Unstable Vortex, and the region right now is really good. Cherryo comes landing down, but Shell is popped in response.
Love the shell pop right before the Thor stun, so no follow-up damage going to be as effective as Leftovers might have thought. Badgah takes a spill alongside the Phoenix in the mid lane. Funball gets credit for that one, pushing into the tower, just looking to kill the opposition. His Paradigm, they're going to shift over to the right side and look for the half HP Phoenix.
Arkkyl doesn't land down onto the team. Instead, they're going to siege up this right-hand side Phoenix, which is already low, and Funball, it looks like he wants to fight, but the rest of his team is on retreat.
Funball has wanted to fight the entire game. We saw him 1v3 pushing into a tower.
He's second in damage, but I mean, that's on Lawbster, and we've seen him put out so much poke, and he's converted it, right? We saw Allegiance versus Randos was earlier. Aduro has like 50,000 damage by the end of that first game, but not a lot of that damage was converted into kills. This time, Lawbster is setting up so much for his team.
I mean, Lobster has 2/5 more damage than the number 2. It's incredible. And he's going to go ahead and put a kill on it as well. 3, 2, and 10 for the mid laner. Lobster has been on fire today, coupled with the rest of Paradigm. 13 and 9 read the kills. Cherryo find a gigantic stun. All 3 Phoenixes are down. Badgah's going to knock one to the sky, but Xaliea able to take out the Apollo. Follow-up damage as Nika tries to ultimate away is not going to be enough. Paradigm still looking for the fight. Only 3 players alive for Leftovers. And with the minions funneling in, Kevin, this one certainly looks like Paradigm.
Here comes the fire creeps. Cherryo makes his last ditch effort diving into 4, but it's not going to be enough in Paradigm. They're going to find 2 wins, 2 important wins with how close Europe is right now. Looking at the Dream Tech spot secures, and really, really good for them. That was really well played too. That was very dominating. Leftovers had their moments of brilliance there, but Paradigm overall played like a better squad.
Again, love the swap around. Game number 1, we saw the hard carry and a fun ball and a little bit of utility being played by the Neith in the mid lane, and then the hard swap. Fun ball this time around was the setup man playing on the Neith instead of the powerful Freya. He was able to set up kills for his teammates, but don't let that dissuade you. He was certainly very aggressive, always winding up on the front side, and with that Fatalis, able to stick to the targets.
He was hitting so many autos in this game, which is always what you want from your Hunter. Obviously, he's on Neith, so they're not hitting as hard as some of the other Hunters will, especially with his build, but just always on point and able to chase these players down. You can see hitting in the autos.
Through the wall.
Gets in range to finish him off with the Spirit Arrow. Really well played by Funball.
And here we just see this is the aggression that I was talking about. He's a setup man early to mid game, but then late game realizes he's just looking for the push.
I like that little backstep as well, avoiding the damage from the Janus ult.
Oh, yeah.
And the unstable Vortex. So, I mean, just consistent play coming out from the Paradigm boys.
Paradigm dual lane also. Trixtank helped out Funball a lot in that fight and allowed him to really aggress as much as he needed to.
And this is Trixtank. You can see everyone splitting up, getting away from him. This is just such a deadly combination. The Ares ult straight into the Lightning Storm from Zeus, because you can't... The whole idea is, all right, Ares is ulting, especially when he's behind, let's just kill the Ares. The problem is, though, if you want to kill the Ares, you need to fight inside the Lightning, which is not a good thing.
Not at all. And I mean, keep in mind, don't forget, Leftovers had the lead for the majority of the mid to early game, right? So having that Ares still be able to come out on top, very, very important for Paradigm to win these 2 games. And they'll take that one ahead as they set their sights onto the land.
14-8 currently, second in Europe. Hunger for More right behind them at 14-10. Team Dignitas and Cringe Crew. We're starting to see some separation from them. They're going to need to find some pretty big wins here next week.
Yeah, it's very, very close. Every single game matters. Thursday, we'll see the North American action. Envy versus Soar. Soar trying to get to DreamHack. Luminosity versus Randozos. Luminosity trying to get to DreamHack. But Enemy versus Eager.
Honestly, I mean, Enemy have a really tough week. We've seen Eager really start to pick it up recently. Enemy started off 9-1. Since then, they've been trading out games for the most part and almost losing to Randozos, which is really not a good look there. They're starting, I wouldn't say falling off. I still think Enemy is a phenomenal team, but they're facing off against Denial and Eager. It is very possible that they get 0-4 this week.
Eager and Enemy. I mean, that match on Thursday, that is absolutely, if you got work, call in sick. Like, that's the game that you want to watch over the next 1 week. Definitely next week, maybe even the next 2 weeks. It's not quite as simple as this, but the winner might just go to DreamHack.
It's pretty secure. If you get 2-0, I would probably predict a split from the outside looking in right now. But I think these teams are pretty equal where 2-0 either way could just happen based off picks and bans.
Yeah, it's going to be really rough. As always, the analysts and us will put out our predictions, so keep an eye out online for that. And if you want some more breakdown, of course, every Wednesday and 2 days from now, you can join us on hi-rez TV immediately around like 4 or 5 o'clock. Tune in, and we'll break down some of the games coming up from last week, as well as look forward to the games that we're going to see in week number 9. That's Esports Weekly with myself, Kevin, Anatoly, and, well, whoever shows up. Maybe even Amanda. She's been doing a good job. So that's going to do it for week number 8. What's your highlight out of this entire week, Kevin?
Probably Panthera looking human. Paradigm able to take a game off them. Soar versus Eager, also a phenomenal set as well. Trading out, both teams looked really good. I think they're the top 2 in North America right now, and I don't think Paradigm's going to have a free tournament, or excuse me, Panthera. Paradigm, Panthera, someone needs to change. It's got to be Panthera, they're unsponsored. But I don't think Panthera are going to have a free tournament win looking at DreamHack. It's not going to be easy for them.
I'm staring at those standings. We hope to see you on Wednesday and then further on for week number 9. For everybody here at hi-rez, including Peckies, have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Never forget about Peckies.